One, it's your man DJ Seko. Mr. I drink too much coffee, but I've been off the coffee for a little while. Let's see if I stay awake the whole night. All right. We're on the line with Miss Bad and Bougie herself, Sheena Boston. Salute that. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing wonderful. It's good to be with the family again.
Yes. I understand you're hot off the trails of some hot yoga.
Yes, well, actually, it was warm yoga. We had to take it in steps. Take it in steps. We're not quite ready for the hot yet. Don't rush me, Seko. Don't rush me.
Okay. Speaking of hot, we have another fly girl in the area, Miss Sabrina Bailey. That didn't come out right, did it? Okay. I was trying to segue. We have Miss Sabrina Bailey in the house. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. On the Fly Guy podcast, we do things on the fly. I think, you and I talked just this morning and locked everything in. So we do everything on the fly, but we do it in such a fly manner. One of the other things that we do is we want to make sure that our listeners have a ROI, a return on their investment. So we'll talk about that a little later on. We want to make sure that this podcast was worth their time. And you mentioned the concept of legacy. That's something that's really big for you right now. So why is the term or the concept of legacy big for you, and what does that all entail?
Well, the concept of legacy is big for me because, I think that's our purpose, is to leave a legacy. We're here for such a short period of time in the grand scheme of things. Even if we live to be 100, historically, that's not a long time, and you want to leave your mark. And I feel like when we're here, we have a purpose, and our life is to decide or figure out what our purpose is. And that becomes your legacy. And I believe that, we should leave a fingerprint, a footprint, a legacy for the next generation, to show we were here, to represent our time while we were here.
Oh, she went Brooklyn on us. Okay. Okay. It's interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
I was listening to a speaker the other day, and he said there are two important days in a person's life: the day you're born and the day you realize why you were born. So I guess that kind of goes towards reason and ends with legacy, to me anyway. So
I can agree with that. I'm not a parent, but I tried all of my adult life to have children. And when I had to get to the point where I accepted the fact that I wasn't going to have any children, I had to rationalize exactly what it was that I was giving up or, missing out on. And I realized that of everything, the most important thing for me was to be able to impact someone's life in some positive way. And that's where I came upon the whole legacy piece. I realized that a lot of our habits and traditions and things, they're altered with each generation. And I think that's our job, to alter it, during our time here. And that, like I said, becomes your legacy. And that's important to me.
Okay. Interesting. So how are you sowing the seeds of legacy currently?
Well, just in several ways, actually. And it's so funny how Sheena mentioned that she went to warm yoga. I feel like
if she was there, it was hot yoga. She's Miss Bad Bougie.
Hot yoga. Well, to me, that's like a holistic approach to your health. That's one of the aspects of a holistic approach to your health. I believe that we need to start being conscious of the things that we're doing, our lifestyle, the way that we're living, our eating habits, our diets, all of that, our supplements, all of that, I feel makes up our approach to our health. It's holistic. And I think that even that should be brought to everyone's attention, should be taught, should be talked about, and should be explored, because things are changing, and the atmosphere is changing. The additives that's in our food and our drugs has changed. So we have to change our approach to our health. You know, we have to become holistic in our approach to our health, because right now we have things that didn't exist 20, 30 years ago. We have what they call it electronic smog. I never heard of that phrase 20 years ago. You know, we have situations in our environment that we have to address, and we have to make different changes based on that. And it's important that we relay that to this generation that we're raising up now. And that is another form of legacy to me.
So how do we make those changes?
By being aware, staying woke, as they're saying nowadays. You know, that's like the common phrase that everyone wants to say, but it's so real. You know, I don't know who introduced Sheena to warm yoga. I was introduced to it maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I didn't do it though. I didn't do it. It was just suggested to me. This thought. I was just like, I can't breathe just thinking about it. But but it did make me aware of how important and beneficial it was, you know. So I found something different. For me, it was walking, you know. But I just think, you know, just doing something physical, you know, getting active and making that a part of your lifestyle. We talked about it when I was growing up, but we need to talk about it even more so now, because we're like the laziest, you know, at this time right now. And it is detrimental to our health if we don't incorporate some of these things. So I think by, you know, like Sheena talking about it and letting people in our communities know that it's not their thing, it's a holistic approach, a wise approach to our health, you know, and it's something that
one of the things I find so interesting in our community, we label things like yoga as a their thing, when it's an our thing, because there are depictions of women doing yoga in Kemet. Yoga has been practiced by the melanated people of India for thousands of years. It's actually our thing that they are using to heal their bodies. And we have to get back and create comfortable spaces where we can come together at whatever level we're at. Like you said, you find your thing. You know, if it's walking, if you like to play basketball, if you like to play tennis, find your thing and go for it.
You notice that she used the term melanated. See, I told you she's bad and bougie. She uses those bougie terms like melanated. Go ahead, girl. That's why I love talking with Sheena. She brought a historical perspective to it. So it sounds like there's a legacy of healthy activities that we can trace back to the mother continent. And so there's that concept of legacy again. What areas do we need to really start leaving legacies in your opinion?
Well, I'm a life insurance agent by profession.
Oh, here's the pitch. Hold on to your wallet.
It's only right. And then this is my other baby. And so my approach, what's super important to me right now is health and wellness, and financial legacies. You know, a lot of what we're going through, let me not start it like that. There's a lot of ignorance in regards to finances. There's a lot of conversations that are not happening in households in regards to finances. And when I became an insurance agent, I realized how much so that exists in our communities. And it's crazy because it feels like, you know, we need it the most. You know, let me clear that up. With the insurance part, we need that the most, and we're the ones it's the hardest for me to talk to about life insurance. And when you think about the fact that, you know, we do need the financial legacy, we do need the step up, the assistance, you know, for the next generation when they're growing up and they're getting to the point where they're becoming independent. They need help. We need to be able to have something set up for our families. And it's not talked about. It's not respected. You know, so that's frustrating to see that, you know, we don't take care of our money while we're here. And then we leave a bill and, you know, we leave our families distraught and in the midst of being traumatized, you know, over the loss. And this is bad planning. This is just, you know, we're dropping the ball on passing down this knowledge and this education to each other in regards to our finances. So that was how I first realized how severe it is in our communities.
All right. Well, you're from BK, right?
Born and raised.
All right. I hear it in your voice. What were some of the messages about financial legacy that you saw in Brooklyn?
Oh, I didn't see any.
I can tell you, when I lived in Brooklyn and when I went back every year, I didn't see any.
I didn't see any. I was blessed, though, that straight out of high school, I got really good jobs. I worked for the Department of Motor Vehicles downtown Brooklyn. I worked for Citibank. I worked for what used to be Manufacturers Hanover's Trust as a bank teller. And when I worked in the banks, I realized how much other people use money to do things, invest, save, you know, stuff like that. And when we weren't doing that, we would get our paycheck and spend our paycheck. And by the next pay period or the next payday, we were broke again. You know, I grew up in the projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn. We didn't talk about it. We wore, ate, or rode in our paychecks. We didn't do anything productive or, you know, we didn't do anything constructive with it. And then the last job that I had before I left New York at 31. And I was a homeowner and all that. So I did accomplish some things, but in all honesty, I didn't learn it from home. You know, my last job, I was with the Transit Authority. I made very good money. I left that job and everybody thought I was crazy. But the reason I left is because I sat in the token booth one night, making about $54,000 a year at 31 and great benefits.
Hold on. You were 31. You're bringing home $54,000 in BK?
Yeah.
Shoot.
I was a homeowner. I was in my second marriage at the time. And I wrote my obituary and I didn't like it. It didn't sound beefy enough. I looked like an overpaid cashier on paper.
What made you want to write your obituary? That sounds like some Les Brown stuff.
You know what? A homeless guy, you know, when being in the subway, I met and knew a lot of homeless people. They lived in the subways. They were some of the most brilliant people I ever encountered in my life. And one night, I worked a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. So one night, this homeless guy stood in the station with me for a couple of hours, and he went off on me about, what are you doing with your life? And why do you think God allowed you to come forth? And your mother brought you forth. And what are you doing with yourself? And he made me really like check myself. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm a token booth clerk. And then I thought about it. And I said, hell, I'm a token booth clerk. Like, I could do better than this, you know? And he made me start questioning my purpose and what am I doing with my life? And I wrote that obituary. And I felt like there's something more I'm supposed to do, but I'm not going to do it here. I was too comfortable there. So I felt like I needed to do something different. And I put together a wonderful plan. This isn't it. But I have a plan. I've learned to pivot.
Hey, you know, like the Quran says, we plan, they plan, but Allah is the best of planners. So, and there's a bigger plan. We got to work our plan and just, like you say, pivot as things happen. I think he was low-key hitting on you. He was like, yo, this chick is 50, you know, making $54K. She looks young.
No, wait.
What are you doing with your life, girl?
Let me give you the visual. He was one of those with the Frederick Douglass hair and the big beard, and he had like 12 coats on, and he wasn't trying to kick it, trust me. I think he knew he didn't stand a chance, but
okay.
It was a good conversation for the middle of the night. It brought awareness for me anyway. Yeah.
It brought awareness.
Mm-hmm. He made me realize that I wasn't doing, see, I felt like my life wasn't representing who I felt I was. Like, I felt like there's something huge I'm supposed to be doing. I remember telling my mother, I think y'all got the wrong baby out the hospital, even though I look just like my parents. Don't mistake it. But I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be a working class citizen all my life. I think y'all got the wrong baby. And it just made me realize, just saying that to them as a joke made me realize that I really feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. I'm supposed to be, you know, impacting people in some way. And so I started focusing on children and thinking, okay, I'm going to have children and I'm going to raise these great children and they're going to be an asset to the community and all these things. And when the children didn't happen, I'm like, wait a minute, now what am I going to do? You know, and then I just realized, you know, work on you and leave your legacy, because that, at the end of the day, when I sorted it all out, that's what I was really concerned about, making sure I left my mark.
You've mentioned the children piece twice now. That's an important piece for you. So
important for me. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the hardest thing for me to get over, but I really believe that we owe so much to raising these children. Like, a lot of people are like shooting from the hip when they're raising their children. They're not parenting on purpose. And it's so frustrating to watch. You know, it's so frustrating to want something so bad and see people who's blessed with these precious jewels and they don't treat them as such. You know, they don't pour into them. They don't prepare them for life, the real world. You know, we drop the ball in so many ways. And it's not all the time with bad, you know, it's not because they're bad parents. Kids don't come with rule books, but I think parents, they don't take the time to figure out, how do I want to raise this child? You know, because a lot of us are pushed into that situation or forced into that situation where, you know, you're a parent and you didn't really plan it. You know, when I was going through what I was going through, actively planning, you know, it made me just look at things a little bit differently. It wasn't like, oops, I'm pregnant. It was like, I'm going to get pregnant at this age. I'm going to do this. And by this age, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have them in this school. I'm going to do, you know, I had the whole thing mapped out. And because I was struggling for so long, I was able to, like, all right, so in Brooklyn, it was one set of plans. In Queens, it was another set of plans. When I came to Virginia, it was another set of, but I always had like a vision of how I was going to raise my children and how I was going to map out everything for them. And when I started seeing how other people, or paying attention to how other people were raising their children, I'm like, y'all not putting enough attention into, you know, what your children are supposed to do, like, and your job here. You know, it was really frustrating. Like, as an insurance agent, I have a policy. I have several policies, but one of them, my sister is a partial beneficiary, and the agreement is for her to take my Rottweiler and make sure to take care of my dog if I leave here prematurely. And I see mothers who don't put that much interest into leaving insurance and leaving, you know, a will and instructions for their children. I have more provisions in place for my dog than some people have for their children. That's sad.
Wow.
I have a question. How can we raise that level of mindfulness? Because you're right, a lot of other cultures, they have trusts and wills and instructions and accounts for, you know, you never wish for that to happen, but, you know, you are cognizant that it's possible, and so you prepare for that. How do we raise that level of mindfulness in our community, that this is important? This saves your child. You know, God forbid something should happen to you. This protects your child, the rest of your child's life. How do we improve that understanding of the importance?
When you find out, my number is 757-362. Because I speak every chance I get about this as passionately as I'm speaking about it right now. And I don't know if it's because I'm a life insurance agent that people think it's a sales pitch, but it's so real to me, you know, and I haven't figured out other than to, like, I have a page on Facebook, Black Money Matters Too. And I do workshops and seminars, and
that's your page.
That's my page.
Wow.
I speak to people. I try to just bring awareness in every medium possible. And just, I'm diligent about it, because I haven't figured out how to say it impactfully and make it stick and have people follow suit with action. You know, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I haven't figured it out. I hope I do before I leave here, though. And that'll be my legacy.
That'll be your legacy. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, talking about it, I think, helps, you know. And I remember the first time I mentioned the fact that I had this policy with my dog in mind. And when I said it, I was like, I better not say that in front of somebody, in front of too many people, because somebody might be really offended. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, what are they gonna do? Who's gonna check me? Nah. Then I thought about it, and I said, the fact that it's true makes it real, and somebody needs to hear that. You know, that's important. Love is an action.
You know, that's interesting, because when people get divorced, they fight over animals. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that's the dumbest thing, but I have animal lovers on my right hand, on my neighbors, on my right hand, and on my left, and they're serious about their pets. You know, one had, they were complaining that they couldn't get health insurance for their pets. I was like, don't you let the pet die? They're like, no, we got, oh, okay. I must have been offending.
Wait a minute, hold
up. So I can understand that you would, if you would, you know, I mean, I can understand what you've done, even though to me it sounds a little loony, but.
So my husband does too. Notice I left my sister as a beneficiary for that. My husband is like, nah.
Get him out of here.
You gotta go.
Is it a male dog?
No, it's actually a girl, Daisy.
It's a girl? Okay. Well, salute to Daisy, but yeah, you got to go. I'm going to miss my wife, but you got to go. You have thought out more, you've planned more for your dog than some parents have for their children. That's very telling. That is very telling. Wow. But I'm really stuck. You know, here we are. We just had Mother's Day. We have Father's Day coming up. So we're really kind of in the midst of parenthood right now. And so parenthood can really be a legacy. So outside of the financial piece, what are some of the legacy moments that some parents are missing that you've seen?
That I've seen? Okay, so my parents are originally from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Okay.
And my grandfather had 13 children with my grandmother, and she was wife number 3. So at the funeral, we added up 20 some odd children altogether that he had.
You know what? My grandfather had 21 children. Mm-hmm. My grandmother was his 3rd wife.
Wow.
I salute that.
Well, my grandfather was the first Black man in that town to own land. He actually worked over 100 land. He taught us all how to farm, how to go in the field and grow stuff. And that was his legacy. So much so that here it is 2017, and one of my first cousins just revamped that farm, has hogs and horses, and do they have chicken? Yeah, chickens. He sells. He's farming brown eggs, and you know they're revamping that farm and getting it, making it productive again. And that is the legacy. And the fact that he's able to call on any one of my first cousins to come and help him with what he's doing is because we all have the skills. Well, not so much the ones from Brooklyn, but the ones who were born and raised down there. And we only went for the summers. but they put us to work. As soon as we came down for the summer, it was like, take those, fly clothes off and get in the field. And that's where we stayed, working. That was fun too, but, working in the field, and that was a legacy. And the work ethics that he passed down to us, none of us are lazy. We will get up and work, that's a legacy. And then the fact that we always had fresh fruits and vegetables available to us. Candy was like a one-off. Candy was a once in a blue moon. The majority of our diet was fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's a legacy. Because a lot of, we entertain, we love, we do everything, socialize with food, and our food choices are horrible, and so again, that's another form of legacy to me, to just make your children, just for us to be aware that how we're eating and, it's not good. When we first, I like to tell this story, how, when we came over here as slaves, we were given scraps. And so we made Thanksgiving out of it. But here it is now. Some of us act like chitlins and stuff is a delicacy. No, it's trash. And we need to really raise our consciousness on the foods that we're eating and feeding our children. We're drinking milk from a cow. Unless you're a calf, you shouldn't be, so it's little things like that, just knowing better so you can do better.
Is Mother's Day hard?
Always. I just posted how I have mixed emotions because I have my mom and we are best friends and I adore her, worship the ground she walks on. I really do. But I get a lot of Happy Mother's Day posts, and I was in the post office on Saturday and it was, oh, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. And I'm like, thank you. I appreciate it because it's definitely, nice to be recognized, but at the same time, it's a constant reminder, like that whole week leading up to Mother's Day is a reminder of how close I came, really close. That last one, I got as far as 5.5 months pregnant. And I waited until I was past the first trimester and everything before I even let people know about it. Because I had struggled so long and, I didn't want anyone to know. I was embarrassed. I was, so I waited and got to where I thought was the safe time to tell everyone. I worked in a call center. And once I, announced it, 2 weeks later, I lost her and it was devastating. Yeah. So it's hard every year. I don't go to the cemetery or anything like that anymore, but I do acknowledge her. But I don't need any sympathy. I don't want any sympathy because I really believe that God knows best. And that's just not where, that's not what he had for me. I am a godmother. I have nieces and nephews who I adore, and I pour into. And I am leaving my legacy and by doing things like this. A lot of people are not comfortable with talking about their personal experiences and things like that. I don't mind. I feel like everything I went through was for me to share. And I think that God allowed it because my big mouth will tell someone. I think that's important.
Wow. Well, the concept of legacy seems even stronger with a person who's had your type of experiences. Because in many ways, I have 2 children, so I expect that I'm going to leave some type of legacy. So then I kind of look at you like an Oprah.
I wish. Want to see my wallet?
But she's left a legacy and champion for people and for improvement and for opportunity and for equity and so on and so on and so on. And from the little time that I've known you, I see you moving in that direction. Is that purposeful? Is that something you're doing on purpose?
It's something I'm doing deliberately. I don't know what this walk is supposed to look like, but I know I'm supposed to walk. I know that I'm supposed to talk. I know that I'm supposed to seize opportunities to get in front of a camera, an audience, a microphone, and talk about these things that are near and dear to me. It's coming from a very genuine place. And I don't believe that what's happened to me just for me to always and be sad on Mother's Day. I believe that everything is purposeful. So yeah, it's deliberate for sure. It's me figuring out, you know, I know my purpose is to leave a legacy. And the only blueprint or instructions I have is to check your heart, look in the mirror, be real, and expose that. That has to be what my legacy is, because that's who Sabrina is.
Well, what strikes me is that your legacy might be the fact that you're telling people, hey, you need to leave a legacy. And that might be one of the strongest legacies of all. We have about 7 minutes left. Tell us about Vida Divina, or, you know, I see something in the background. All right, shameless plug. All right. Tell us about, okay, is it Divina, Vida Divina?
It's Vida Davina, which is divine life in Spanish.
Okay. I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm. I'm a
Vida Davina could be a performer.
Right. Okay.
All right. Yeah, my mail list just popped up. All right. Let me pull it back. Tell us about Vida Divina.
Well, it's a health and wellness company, and I'm a franchise owner. My franchise is Established Grace Enterprises, and I'm a distributor of health and wellness products that uses medicinal mushrooms as its base. So the CEO and founder was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer around his stomach and heart, and had high blood pressure, diabetes, and was over 400 pounds. His wife was a holistic doctor who created these formulas. And so, again, he was given 6 months to live 7 years ago now. So he's still here, and he's all behind these products, and so am I. As a life insurance agent, it was important to me to be able to offer an option when I had to tell someone that they would decline for insurance for medical reasons, health reasons. And these products are amazing. Simply amazing. Established Grace Enterprises.
All right. So where can people find Established Grace Enterprises on social media?
All over social media. Facebook. I have a Facebook page dedicated to Established Grace called Established Grace. I have my insurance business on Facebook under my maiden name, Sabrina L. Benjamin. And you didn't know that was my maiden name?
Sabrina L.
is my middle name, and Benjamin is my maiden name.
Okay.
On my middle initial. And so, and I talk about I'm having a tea party on Friday. I have tea parties at least twice a month in Virginia, in the Hampton Roads area. I do them via Zoom. So I'm always looking for an audience to talk about Vida Divina.
Okay. Wow. And that's another way that you're leaving a legacy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So what's the return on investment? This person listened to this podcast and our discussion and your story and my silly questions and Sheena's insightful statements, Miss Bad and Bougie. What's the return on investment? What would you like a listener to walk away after listening to this with?
The need to have more conversations like this about these topics, about our health, about our legacy, about just parenting on purpose. That if nothing else, if no one ever remembers anything that I say, I want them to remember my hashtag, which is be a legacy creator, and to parent on purpose. And understand that, when you were blessed with this precious, precious jewel, this cherish them and do what do right by them. Do right by them.
All right. Hey, Miss Bad and Bougie, you have any parting words?
I would just like to piggyback off what she said, and I would challenge the people in our community is to be more mindful about their purpose in life. Be more everyone wants to say we're woke. Woke about what? You know, it's one thing to read something. It's another thing to be able to apply that knowledge with purpose. You know, we educate ourselves about health. Are you sharing that knowledge? Are you being purposeful with that, with that which you know? So, and that's also part of leaving your legacy. Okay, you've gained some knowledge, share it in a purposeful, mindful manner.
You go, girl.
I told you she was bad.
You bad.
Incredible. All right, well, your message is parent on purpose and leave it. What was your hashtag?
Be a legacy creator.
Be a legacy creator. Instagram, you on the IG?
Oh yeah. BK to VA Brina.
Okay. That's what's up. All right. Well, we thank you for being on the Fly Guy podcast with Miss Bad and Bougie, Sheena Boston, your man DJ Seko, Varner, Mr. Drink Too Much Coffee, Mr. Stay Woke with a reason, with a purpose, so you can get your job done. That's why I'm staying woke. All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you see, she pushes me to excellence. So love having her around. All right. So you ladies, stay fly.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.